just wanted to kind of introduce everybody that's going to be just helping, that kind of help put this together. Welcome each and every one of y'all here. I think everybody here right now is from South Carolina, right? Yeah. Okay, well, when Jason comes, they're from Georgia, so everybody give him a hard time. You'll see why I say that later, because he's kind of a hoot to hang out with too. So, but they'll be up a little bit later to do the second set of presentations. So this was kind of an idea that I had, as well as a couple other people had, that we kind of talked about at Homesteaders of America back in October. Then, I don't know about y'all, but COVID happened at our house. So that kind of changed a few different things in regards to what you're juggling, what you're dealing with, all that kind of stuff. And then we had the conversation continually throughout the winter, and I'm glad that we kind of were able to finally put all this together for everybody to come. And thank y'all for coming, and especially on a Memorial Day weekend. I didn't realize this was Memorial Day weekend when Will and I were initially talking. We said today, yeah, this will work. It's like, hang on, that's Memorial Day weekend. So thank y'all for giving up a long weekend to be able to come and just hang out with some fellow homesteaders and folks, and as we talk about a variety of different things. So I just want to kind of tell y'all a little bit about who we are and what we're thinking. And you know, one of our key things is to connect each and every person here, and for that to be a local connection, I think that's key. I know that some of the other events that I've gone to that were larger, they're really, really cool. You get to meet people from all over the country. You do run into people who are local too, but you kind of lose that connection. You know, people who do things in California are a little bit different than things that happen here, right? A little bit, or things that even happen in Virginia are a little bit different than happen here. And even if you're in the same zone, it might be a little bit different. That plus making those connections with people. I was talking with someone last night, and they were like, "Yeah, we have so many chickens right now. You know, we're literally having to either throw them away or give them to animals, etc. because we can't use them all." Well, hey, maybe you know somebody else who could use some of that, and you can kind of partner together to be able to do that. So, again, just the biggest thing is for us to be local, and for us to improve the way of living. And for us to always put family first. I know that's key for my family, as well as a lot of other people here, and just making sure that family is most important. With everything else that's crazy going on right now, which we definitely do not want to have a conversation about that, for sure. But with everything else going on, it's very important for us to be able to handle things and do things locally, and to take care of our families first. Okay? So y'all just remember that throughout the day, and we appreciate feedback too. I think that's another key thing. When I was typing all this stuff up, I got my proofers to proof it, which means my oldest child and my wife, and they said, "You did a typo on this. You put family, not family." I was like, "No, it's supposed to be that." And they're like, "People aren't going to even know what that is." So basically, that's, you know, you're so close as friends that it feels like family. So we want to build those relationships and make sure that those are key locally and also regionally. Farm, you know, we want to grow people to grow more for themselves, right? What pretty much every one of us do in a variety of different ways. Some grow probably more than they need in the next 10 years, but they're working on ways to kind of partner and barter with those kinds of things too, making those connections. So that's key. And then freedom. You know, we're thankful for those who have sacrificed ahead of us so that we can have the freedom that we have. And you know, we want future generations to be able to enjoy that freedom too. So that's key to us in regards to everybody partnering together. So I say meet the team. These are kind of three folks that we've kind of been FaceTiming here or there, brainstorming about how to put this stuff together. And I just want to kind of introduce them. I didn't introduce myself at first, but I'm Matt Dean. We live in the Lakelands area of South Carolina, and we have 6 kids, and we have Dean Family Acres, and we're on 5 acres. So sometimes that's just enough. Sometimes it's not nearly enough. Y'all know what I'm saying when I say that, right? But in regards to who else is here, Will Schillinglaw is right here. Will has Dixie Meadows farm, and Will is kind of in the north central part of South Carolina, right off I-77. what he's doing. He might not be willing to get up here and talk to you in regards to a group, but if you've got a question about gardening or farming or anything like that, he's the man. I wish I could figure out at least a pinch of what he does. He has not surrendered to landscaping fabric like I have in regards to weeding. He would much rather be out there a couple hours every day making sure he doesn't have weeds. But again, Will Schillinglaw, thank you to him for helping. And then Ronnie Williams is over here. Ronnie's from Earlybird Farm SC, and he's kind of in the same general area, north central part of kind of Lancaster County region. And he's been another influential person, and from all the people I've kind of met through Facebook and other social media to this point of homesteading locally, he and I probably connect on the most things in regards to just trees and even landscaping aspect and those kinds of things. If we get on, actually, if any of the three of us get on the phone, it's probably going to be a 45-minute conversation, even though we don't mean for it to be. So, and those are just connections that we've been able to make just through social media. And again, there's a lot of really, really good stuff on social media, and that's what we want to focus on. So, I want to talk to y'all. Did everybody get a schedule? I know I emailed one out to everybody. I think we tried to give one out per family. I think that's easiest. But just what we're going to do today, I know we're a little bit off schedule for those folks that like that kind of thing. Obviously, that's not me all the time, but I do like to try and stay at least somewhat sequenced. It kind of changes things a little bit when you don't have power, right? So you're kind of juggling how in the world you're going to show this to everybody. But we're going to have a couple different sessions available today. The breaks, I want to make sure that those are times where y'all can connect, kind of like we were doing here. The first one, I'd really like for it to be just small groups of people that maybe you're connecting with somewhat like a local region. So, you know, if you're kind of in the Midlands, okay, try and meet up with Midlands folks. If you're kind of over toward the beach or low country, that kind of thing, try and meet up with those. Upstate, that kind of thing. So just try and meet up with those local folks. If it ends up mismatching, that's totally fine, but I think that that's a good opportunity for people to kind of really plug in with folks that are close and nearby you. So you're going to have plenty of opportunities for that. And then we'll have the second session. The first session will be here, and then on the back side here, you get to pick one of those that you want to attend. Hopefully they will continue to entertain you and they won't walk off and run to the other one or run back and forth. But we'll talk about who those are in just a second. And then session 2, you'll have 3 options. There'll be one down here where the table is, and then the same spots again. So we'll have those opportunities. And then another break. And then at the end, we're just going to do a Q&A. I didn't tell every presenter we're going to do this, but I figure they're probably cool with it. We're going to do a Q&A where you guys can ask us questions or ask anybody questions, honestly, just to be able to connect. If there's something that kind of triggered your interest, or maybe you weren't able to go to that session, but you had a question, you can ask that, and we'll let that run as long as y'all want to. I know we kind of officially are wrapping up at around 1, but if you brought something to eat, that kind of thing, and want to hang around the rest of the day, your park admission got you full day's access. So y'all feel free to stay as long as you would like to. All right, so today's presenters are up here. Again, I emailed out a lot of this information, but I think it's helpful just for people to have and know. I'm doing no more presenting than what I'm doing right now, but if I didn't put my picture up there, it wouldn't look somewhat symmetrical. Thank you for the word. So I had to. That's the only reason I'm up there. We've got Megan Hight from Living the Hight Life, Ronnie Williams from Earlybird Farms SC, Jason and Robin from Big Bear Homestead. They'll be coming in at about 11 o'clock because they have a family milk cow, and they're from Georgia, so again, give them a hard time. And then Shelly and Heinz Gromer, they're going to be talking about fermenting and overcoming the fear of fermenting. And so they will actually be down here during the second one. And then Dave and Ashley Bentley here. So those are all the folks that will be presenting. Does anyone have any questions specifically before we break out into
breakout session? Neither one of us are trained speakers, so please bear with us. My name's Dave, my beautiful and talented wife Ashley. We are Bentley Critters. It's our little pet and animal pet pigeons for a little business, and we're also expanding that into livestock now. Looking at pigs, goats, chickens, and potentially cows too. We did breed a donkey. I've already bred one baby goat, but that was by accident. So just a little bit about ourselves. I come from a farming family of Kentucky. My favorite times in my youth were spent on my pawpaw's farm in southeastern Kentucky, a little town called London, Kentucky. Which if you ever look at a regional map on the Weather Channel, they usually show London in the bottom corner of Kentucky. We raised burley tobacco was our cash crop on my pawpaw's farm, and Hereford cows, beef cows. That planted a seed in me at a young age of just loving being on the farm, loving being around animals, and especially loving cows. I just love the cow. It was a dream of mine throughout all my youth to have a farm at some point in my life, and I thought it was only going to be a dream until it actually became a reality. I was lucky enough to marry a beautiful lady that shares my love for critters, maybe a little bit more than I do in some cases. We're kind of bad influences on each other in that regard, as we just keep adding on critters, and neither one of us tends to say no. She comes from a animal hospital vet tech background, so she's got a lot of the know-how and skill and best practices and treatments for critters, and I just kind of sometimes just follow her lead, most of the time actually. You want to say about your history?
My family came from a lot of hunters, so catching and getting your own food is something I was very accustomed to, butchering animals. So I kind of knew I wanted to continue that in a way that I grew the animal and harvested it myself. So that's kind of what brought a drive in for me as well.
So that's a big drive for us on our homestead, is to, it probably is the same for almost any homesteader, is wanting to have control over what they're raising, what they're eating, what goes into what they're eating, how that animal has been treated, what's their life been like prior to sustaining us as food and going off to freezer camp, as they say. And so that's a big deal for us, is making sure our animals are living their best life up until the point where we take it and sustain our family through it. We have a 20-acre farm in Jefferson. 10 acres of that is pastured, fenced-in pasture land. So we allow our critters to just roam that pasture, live their best life, keeping it well trimmed so it doesn't get too tall. HOA is good to go with that. Thank you. But we got cows. Well, let me just go through the list. So we've got rats and pigeons. We have quail, chickens, and kind of ducks and turkeys. Does that cover all the fowl?
Yes.
Okay. We've got 3 cows, 2 Holstein cows and a Jersey cow. We have 8 goats, a Nubian and what are the other breeds? Savannah goats. One of them is in milk right now, so it's a twice daily practice for my beautiful and talented wife. She gets to milk Savannah. Which if you've ever had goat cheese from a freshly milked goat, that is about the best you can get. So we've got 3 pigs. We have Berkshire pigs, which is a heritage breed of pig. It's a pretty popular pig, I'd say. It's not as widely well known as like the Cooney Coons. It's a great pig. At full size, they'll get up to 600 pounds. They've got black hair with white spots on the face and feet, sometimes on the tail. Got a boar and a sow that will breed together and make little baby piglets at some point. And we've got a cut male Corky, who we're just raising up until we harvest him.
I know, you do have my phone number too. I know. So if any of y'all didn't have questions answered before, or maybe if if y'all don't have questions, I'm sure maybe some folks up here had some things that seem to be asked a lot that maybe you want to make sure everybody kind of heard. Then that would be something as well. Anybody?
Yeah.
Or if you asked one before and maybe you think, hey, not everybody was in that session.
Everybody answered questions so well. It's so awesome.
Must mean everybody did a pretty good job.
Everybody did an awesome job.
Yeah, it must be. No matter how long. We had an A+ team until we had to call in Georgia backups. It could have been. It could have been. Yeah.
You were a solid B+.
Well, I will say thank you each and every one for coming out. I know that if you want to connect with more people, I think we've had a lot of time to do that. But if you want to do that some more, you're welcome to hang around. I know that if anyone's interested, I would like to get a video shot of you and or your spouse or family just telling us what you got out of this. You know, just your impression, that kind of thing. We'll kind of stitch some of them together. I won't make you YouTube famous. Jason might, but not YouTube famous. I wish this So, but I love to do that because I think that it helps other people connect in regards to letting them know just what they missed out on. And you know, just the connections that we'll make, and hopefully, you know, we kind of grow it from there. I think that we've had a pretty good turnout, and I know that we had a lot of people that were still wanting to come, and I just wasn't sure about numbers wise, you know, what we're going to end up with. So if you're willing to do that, come see me afterwards. I would love to do that, and just you know, kind of talk with you, that kind of thing. So any other comments? All right.
This concept of how Matt set everything up, in my opinion, is the most important thing that we can do right now with the way that everything is going on, you know, with the supply chains and all the other madness. Little gatherings like this, in my opinion, is more important than going to like an HOA or something like that, because this is where you're an hour from me. He's 15 minutes from me. He's just on the wrong side of the river. But we're close, so if my squash just does horrible, and he had a bumper crop of squash, I can call him up and say, hey, what do you want to trade for some squash? Or what do you want to trade for this? Or what do you want to trade from that? Or, hey, I'm trying to put this barn up, can you guys come? Because all of the bodies that are here right now, we could get a barn up in a day, you know? And this is what makes it important, this type of small community right here. So take the time this afternoon, if you haven't done it yet, get to know everybody. Shake everybody's hand, trade contact information, because like, Robin and I have been doing this for 15 plus years. We didn't, in the very beginning, this didn't exist. And we were considered weird or crazy, you know? And now more people are starting to come to this type of lifestyle, and they're starting to.
Thanks for tagging along on this adventure. Also, if you're not subscribed to our channel, hit that little subscribe button down below that's about to pop up. Also, there'll be 2 videos that'll pop up right here. Check out one of those videos too. I feel like it'll be something that you'll like as well. Stay tuned. We'll have more videos out on Earlybird Farms SC, where the SC stands for South Carolina.